I had to steal a lot in order for us to eat. I had to steal for us to have clothes. We literally had no home.
I am Hayzel Green, an inquisitive, unapologetic, voluptuous introvert who blooms and blossoms behind closed doors. This is my podcast, a platform where I will discuss my writings and where I will bring to light conversations with my good girlfriends, sisters, brothers, and homeboys about love, life, music, and most importantly, sex. So leave your judgment at the door and welcome to Hanging Out with Hayzel.
It's Hayzel, baby.
First, I want to say this is going to be different for me. A lot of conversations I have kind of geared towards sex. I do want to, broaden my horizons. Okay. Hanging out with Hayzel is basically conversations that you have with people, your homeboys and your homegirls, just about life in general, and whatever the path takes you from there. When I first met you, I'm going to say it was like about four years ago, maybe?
2017.
2017?
2018, something like that. No, you met me in 2018, 2019, because I was working at Subway.
That's right, them cookies.
And that was literally in the midst of me moving out of DeLorean's. So.
Okay. Yeah, so the oatmeal raisin cookies, yes. I remember that oh so well. Like you said, where we met, the friend of mine, he has a lot of foster children, that comes through his door, from what I can tell. And this is not about him, but he seems to do a good job raising the men that come through his house. Or he raised the boys to men that come past his house. Everybody is not a success story, as we all know from recent events that we saw on the news.
Yeah.
But, that's no fault of his. That's sometimes you can't, raise somebody above where they want to go.
Right.
Okay. So with that being said, I want to thank you for coming to hang out.
No problem.
Sit up and talk.
No problem.
I know I mentioned to you before that I wanted you to, jump on the mic and bless it and, tell me your story, because a lot of times you never know what a person goes through. You can just see their outer shell, and, and sometimes they can wear masks on their face and you just never know that they're having a trying time. Kind of tell me where your journey started off.
So it basically started. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. I moved around a lot. Me and my mom. My dad was in and out of the picture for a couple years. Now I do remember. A lot of people don't know this. I remember a lot of stuff that most kids won't remember, and it's because it's all traumatic stuff. And that isn't like a lot of people ask me what was my childhood was like. I say I don't have a childhood.
Wow,
I had an adulthood.
That's
my
deep.
whole life.
Wow.
Since my little brother, he's about 3-4 years younger than me. When he was born, I was already, but I was basically getting the groceries and the clothes and all that type of stuff. But the way I had to do it wasn't with money. I had to sneak around and get this type of stuff so that my mom, who is deaf and was a crack, multiple drug addict.
Did you say your mother is deaf?
Deaf, yep.
Wow. So
Yep.
you know sign language? No.
We couldn't get into stuff like that. We couldn't afford those type of classes back then. It wasn't as accessible as it is now.
Well, how could you communicate with your mom?
We were very good at reading lips. My mom was very good at reading lips. You can kind of understand some of the things she's saying, or you get an idea of it. Um, some of the hand motions that she do make, she try to make it easy for us. Um, but like I said, our main thing is basically reading lips, and that's just how we communicate.
Wow. Before you go on, your little brother, is he still around?
He is which is I'm very proud of him, and I just spoke to him today. He is now in the Air Force, which
Oh.
what I wanted to do, but he beat me to it.
Okay. Okay.
He's in the Air Force. He's in Japan right now. He's or on an island outside of Japan or something like that. Um, he is a weapons specialist or something like that. He supplies weapons
Dang.
for the troops out there. And he's starting his music career and stuff out there. And if I must say, he's doing a lot better than what I wanted, what I'm doing now, because he's happy. He's
Yeah.
100% happy.
Yeah, but don't discredit or discount yourself. I mean, because you are helping children do what they got to do with the role that you're in. So I'm sure that growing up, if you had a you then, some things probably would have been a little different for you, maybe.
Yeah, if another question that I get a lot is, and this is a question that a lot of people has gotten. What would I tell myself about 12 years ago, 15 years ago? What would I tell myself? I gave up so much. I would have told myself not to give up.
Okay.
Um, I would have told myself to speak up more, because that's one of the main things I had a hard time doing. I was really in my shell. I shut down a lot. Even if I wasn't angry, I would shut down because, like I said, I dealt with a lot of traumatic things. And what a lot of people were doing, I can't do, because I had to make sure my younger brother was okay, and my mom, who was on drugs, so she was never in her right mind, I had to make sure she was okay. And so I would tell myself don't give up, for one, keep faith in God, 2, 3, speak up. There's a lot of things, and speaking up is a major thing, and especially for a lot of people that's in foster care, because those kids, they don't have no one to go to and tell these things to.
Right.
And then when we do, we get looked like we're crazy.
Or you just trying to start stuff.
Right. Exactly. So, that's what I would have told myself a while back, and I didn't. I'm kind of glad that I'm still alive at this point, because I would have been dead. I think
Wow.
me and my younger brother at the age of 8 years old, we was weighing 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds. We
Malnutrition, huh?
really skinny. My younger brother is still somewhat skinny. He can't even.
So he can't bulk up at all.
Yeah. But we still alive, so.
Yeah, that's a blessing. That is an absolute blessing. Okay, so 3 years different.
Mm-hmm.
Mom is deaf.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to figure it out.
Had to. Like I said, still we had. Ooh, and I can tell you this. Like I said, I had to steal a lot in order for us to eat. I had to steal for us to have clothes. We literally had no home. The only home that we've ever had was when we had 2 homes. The one that my dad gave us, just before things went downhill. He ended up going to jail for being a drug addict and stuff like that. We ended up losing a home. My mom's good friend, who lived 3 houses down, said, "Okay, you guys can come stay with us." But my mom had to stop using drugs.
And she wasn't about to do
And
that.
she couldn't do it. She couldn't go 2 hours. So her and her friend got into a situation. And I remember me and my younger brother getting ready for school. Early in the morning, we're getting ready for school. We got Arthur on. We got some grits in a bowl, sugar, all types of stuff. We getting ready for school. Smile on our faces. Bus pulls up. And we're walking out of the door, and I hear glass break. Now, houses down south, the bathrooms had a very small window, a really small window, and they're thin. My mom punches the window out. She punches the window out, so me and my younger brother turn around, and we see that the window is out now. We go in the bathroom. Her hand is shattered,
Oh
glass
wow.
all in her hand, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Glass all in her hand, and my mom's friend who's also deaf, and they're still friends to this day. Believe it or not, they're still friends. But my mom had glass in her hand. She goes to the hospital. Uh, she's there for a couple hours. They let her go. She come back. She got stitches in her hand. Um, we had got on the bus. We went to school and stuff like that. She dealt with all that type of stuff while we was in school. Um, she come home. We come home. She's home. She's in the bed. She's laying down. Me and my younger brother, not even thinking about this. Uh, we put on cartoons, and something just came over me. It was like, go check on your mom. Go check and make sure your mom is okay. My mom is laying in the bed with a knife in her hand, and the stitches is ripped out of her hand. Blood all over the place. It's a scary sight. So I'm thinking my mom done she done took her own life. Turns out she wanted to, but she couldn't. She was too high.
Oh wow.
She was too high. She couldn't get out of bed. She couldn't move. She couldn't do nothing. She was just so out of it. So my mom's friend comes home from I don't know where. Uh, she calls the emergency. Then she calls 911. They come. They get her. They take her back to the hospital. She's there for a few days. We stay with the friend. She come home. A foster social worker comes. She does a welfare check. She checks up on my mom. She finds out she's doing drugs. My mom goes into rehab. We go into our first foster home after that. We was in foster care for about a year and a half, and my mom was doing rehab. She cleared out of rehab, came home. She was good for a couple months, and things just went downhill again after that.
And what was her choice of drug?
Crack and a whole. I don't know if it was meth or something around there.
Meth?
It was something crazy. She was doing crack while she was pregnant with us. And this is another reason why I don't eat sweets, cuz crack is a substitute for sugar is a substitute for crack. It's only one molecule from being crack.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
That's why they call people crack babies. They don't give kids sugar for a while because crack can be a substitute, or sugar can be a substitute for crack. Sugar is one ingredient away from being crack.
What in the world?
You can look it up. One molecule away.
I'm about to look that up. Not that I don't believe you, but
Yeah,
that's unrealistic to me.
yeah. Believe it or not, but it's things that when you go through it and then you find the truth about it. You find out the truth about things that you go through.
Right.
So, but yeah, so she gets out of rehab. We get back with her. We still homeless again. What went down after that?
So you living in shelters and things like that, or
So we was in one shelter. She got kicked out, got us kicked out. Now we living under a tarp. So I got to go back to stealing again. I had to steal jewelry and I had to hide this stuff in a tree that had a nice size hole right up at the bottom of it where something was able to get in and out, probably a squirrel's nest or something like that. Had jewelry, all types of stuff up in there, and I was waiting until I got old enough to understand what money was for, how to get money off of that type of stuff. And I made a mistake. Well, I'm not gonna say a mistake. I was blessed by stealing from another social worker, and instead of her calling the police on me, She asked me what my story was. I shut down. She took me to this building. And the same social worker that took us the first time so happened to meet me in the same building that we were in. And she said, "Oh, that's, that's Eric. That's Bonnie's her son."
Mm.
So she gets to talking to the other social worker, telling her this, the story of my mom, how all this stuff went down. And so they did another check and they couldn't find my mother.
Mm.
So they asked me, and I don't know what told me to do it, but I did it. I told my mom, I told the social worker where my mom was. That was the end of it. We went into foster care. My mom went back into rehab. My dad's still not out of the picture. Me and my younger brother in foster care. And then we meet this woman by the name of Shirley. Was it Shirley Williams or something? It was Shirley something. I know her last name was Williams because just a year ago, I got the notification saying that she passed away.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't wish death upon people. But this lady was the devil.
Oh.
She's an older lady, late 50s, mid 60s, I would guess around there at the time that I met her. She had 8 other boys, her grandkids, living in a house with her. She, now down south where she lived, whole bunch of woods. Big old house, whole bunch of woods. So you know what comes with woods? You get rodents, you get all types of stuff. We're living with squirrels
In the house?
in the house, rats. We've had raccoons. We've had
And no social worker came to check on the living conditions?
They do. But when you get someone that old, they skip past certain things.
Oh, wow.
So like I said, it's a nice big house.
But 50 and 60 is not old. Wow.
That's the system. That's why I said you don't know the truth unless you're actually in it.
Right. Wow.
So like workers come out, they come out, they check the house, they check what is able to be seen.
Oh, they spot check.
Yeah, they spot check. They don't really check for things super crazy. So yeah, we were living with all these rodents and skunks and whatever else. We barely ate.
Wait, is she white or black?
She's black.
Wow.
She's black.
Okay.
We barely ate. We had to share food with. It's 10 kids. The 8 is her grandkids. Then it's me and my younger brother. We had to share food. Split hot dogs, half a cup of Kool-Aid or water or whatever we have.
Wait. How do you split a hot dog between 10 people?
Well, it's multiple hot dogs, but we all had half of a hot dog.
That ain't nothing. I'm hungry already.
There was days where we got good meals, but that's only when we had company. Her other kids are around, and
she got to show out.
She had to show up for who she wanted to show up for. We've been abused a lot for no reason at all. I can tell you where each single scar on my body come from. Every single one of them.
Wow.
Being abused.
That's deep.
So we've been in a total of 8 foster homes in Georgia. I've been in 4 of them in Ohio.
How did you get to Ohio?
Oh yeah, I skipped over that part. My mom's brother, my uncle, they found out about us while we were down in Georgia. They came down to get us, not knowing what the situation, not the full situation of what we were going through. So they come down, they visit us for 1 year. They came down and visit us for a couple of days. We was in a hotel with them. We got approved to hang out with them and visit them or whatever. Got to meet them. That was the best. That was probably the most fun we've ever seen in our life. We had real food. We got to play games. We got to listen to music. We got to dance. We got to go to parks. We got to do all this type of stuff.
For a year.
Yeah, for just that amount of time. They come back to Cleveland. Um, a year later, a social worker comes back to the house with the greatest news of ever. Says, "Hey, you are going to go live with your uncle in Cleveland." I said, "How are we going to get there?" They came down. They drove. They flew down to Atlanta. Took us, flew us back to Cleveland, and it's around Christmas. Around Christmas, not knowing what Christmas was.
Right.
We never seen snow. We never had gifts. We like none of that type of stuff. It's the greatest time of our lives, but we didn't know how to show that. We didn't know what was good and what was bad.
Right, because of the struggle that you were having.
The struggle we had. So we rolling around in snow. We get our first set of gifts, and then we meet our grandmother. And then come to find out, I have an older brother. By the name of William. We call him Happy. And then I have a sister. Her name is Regina. We meet them. We meet my grandmother. We meet my cousins. Just the other half of the family that we never gotten to meet. So we meet them.
And this is your maternal side. This is your mother's.
This is my mother's family.
So wait, your mother had a son all these years, and how much
a
older?
Son and a daughter.
And what was the age gap between you and the youngest of the two?
I think my older brother is. I think he's just not in his 30s. I think he's like 30, maybe 30, 29, 30, something like that. My sister should be. No, I lied. My older brother is 33. My sister is 30. Yeah. My older brother's 33. My sister is 30.
Wow. And
Should
you
be
still
30.
keep in contact with them?
I'll get to that.
Okay. We'll get to that.
My older brother is a convicted felon.
Okay.
I don't know how many felonies he's gotten over his lifetime, but he's insane. Like he's insane. Attempted murder, robbery, drug possessions, all types of stuff. He got all the charges you could think of. He probably got.
Wow.
Outside of rape and stuff like that, but just the insane person charges that you hear about almost every day. He got those. Now my sister, living with my grandmother, she's just now leaving the high school. On her way to college. She's going to college to be a nurse. And I've only gotten to know her for about 6 years. I'm 8 years old when I first came up here. I only got to know her for 6 years. She had a best friend by the name of, I'm not gonna say his name. He had a best friend who played gay, set her up to get her killed.
Get the heck out of here.
6 guys. All rifles, automatic guns. 12 o'clock at night. I remember this. Being in that house. We just got done with dinner. We're doing the dishes. He calls her and says, "Hey, come outside. I want you to go to the store with me." Now, she, like I said, just got done with doing the dishes, all that type of stuff. It's late at night. She says, okay. Leaves her phone in the house. She goes outside. Her phone rings. I come down the stairs. I get her phone. I'm calling for her. I'm looking for her. Like, where's she at? I go outside. And the moment that I steps outside the side door. Now, the side door, you got to walk up the driveway. The moment I step outside the side door, shots. About 40 shots are let loose. My sister was hit 16 times in the back.
Mm.
3 times in the head. Her best friend, paralyzed from the waist down. For nothing. For no reason. She didn't deal with the streets. She was in college,
Wow.
finna be a nurse. No remorse. I
You might want to skip this part. This seems like this is a lot.
sat there and watched my sister take her last breath. Grandfather comes out of the house, not knowing what's going on. He pulls me and tells me to go in the house, and I'm just shook. I can't move. I can't feel nothing. I'm just scared. I'm like I don't know what to. I didn't know what to do.
That was just one more traumatic experience.
Just another one on top of what I've been through before.
Wow.
So I'm in the house. I done cried myself to sleep. I wake up the next morning. My grandmother, my grandfather, my uncle, my younger brother. Well, my younger brother's just waking up with me. My grandmother, everybody's in the house. Uncle, cousins, they're all in the house, but my sister is not there. My sister isn't there. They tell me that she you know.
Yeah.
So I experienced that, which had me down for 4 years. I was in trouble, getting expelled from school. Uncle didn't want anything to do with me. I just went downhill.
Because I was going to ask how you went back to foster care.
Yeah, this is that. Yeah, I got into a fight. At school, I went to Bedford High School. I got into a fight, choked the dude out, almost killing him. They sent me to a place called Carrington. I was in Carrington for almost a year, and then after that, I went to a group home called In Focus. I was in Focus for about 7 months, and after that, they found DeLorean. Met DeLorean in 2015. 2014, 2015. Just turning 15.
So, but this is what I don't understand. When you went through a whole bunch of those traumatic experience, whichever ones, there was no place or no one for you to go and talk to, no type of counseling. It seems like they would have put you with some type of counselor to show you or teach you how to deal with some of these things.
They tried to.
But you was a rebellion.
But I didn't want to.
Got it.
I didn't want to because, like I said, when you tell these people these things, they sit here and look at you like, did none of that happen to you? Don't none of that happen to you. Why would you sit here and tell that? Why would you sit here and tell that story? Why would you do that? I'm like, of course you don't believe me. Because you wasn't there.
Right.
You don't have the scars on your body. You don't have the memories that replay in your head every second of the day.
Yeah, that's deep. That's really deep. So you are in your early 20s, and you've experienced enough trauma for a whole bunch of lifetimes of someone else. From growing up as a crack baby to being homeless to watching your mother self-destruct to taking care of your little brother from stealing to become an adult to take care of your brother because nobody was there to take care of him, to experiencing joy, even though it was for a small amount of time, meeting other family members, to have someone taken away from you that you met and obviously had a good relationship with, to being turned away again or rejected, if you will, because you didn't know how to deal and cope with what was going on because there was no one there to truly understand what was going on. That's a lot.
Yeah. DeLorean is probably the first person outside of my sister who really ever sat down and listened. Is the only person. And after that, after talking to him, I was able to, well, not even just talking to him, after being in his presence and getting to see what a real parent and someone who's not even that much older than me, we're only 10 years apart.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize how old he was, but yeah, I guess.
10 years apart. And a lot of people are like, is that really your dad? I'm like, yeah. Y'all look the same age. He's only 10 years apart.
Wow.
We're only 10 years apart.
Okay. That's my boo. No.
That's the guy.
Wow.
Yeah, he saved my life. And I hope that he knows that. I don't think I've ever really told him that. I mean, I tell him how much I appreciate him because he's given me things that I've never been able to get. Or he's given me the childhood, even though I'm already, pretty much an adult. He's given me the childhood. He's given me gifts. He's given me the time to experience what other kids got to experience.
Right. And the love. That's real important.
Yeah. That right there is by itself.
Right.
The moment I stepped in the house, I felt that part.
Yeah. The way his house is, the fact that he's consistent on a lot of things, especially cooking, eating at a certain time, sitting at the table, eating as a family, and
talking, laughing, going to movies, going out to eat, doing all these things, and then coming into a family that you don't know, and then you got his mom, you got his nephews and nieces, and all these people just so welcoming. So welcoming. I never had a problem with any of them.
Right.
Never. And I'm a hothead myself. Never had a problem with any of them. Get to play games with them, all this type of stuff.
Right. And family socials, food.
When I wanted to borrow some Jordans, I was able to borrow some Jordans. I didn't have to go out somewhere and take them.
Right.
I didn't have to, because I was able to ask for it and get it.
Wow. Yeah. That's deep. And then, just think of the fact that because of him, we met. And now it's another journey with you and I.
It is. And honestly, I'm gonna speak on the kid that has been through what I've been through.
Okay.
Because I know most of them probably won't speak to this point. Meeting new people is like going into surgery for the first time.
Wow.
You're scared. Well, maybe let's not say surgery. Meeting new. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say surgery because you're scared.
Okay.
You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who these people are. It's like putting your hands in it's putting your life in like a doctor's hand.
Right.
You're nervous. You hope that this person don't mess up anymore.
Right. Or try to use you or belittle you or.
Exactly.
Yeah.
After moving out of my dad's house, all this type of stuff, you've given me a home. You've trusted, even though it's not my first, it's my first house. It's my first house, but you've given me a place to stay. You've trusted me.
Yeah.
So much more. And I brought cookies for you for free.
Right.
You feel
right,
me?
right.
Like that's he has so many good people around him, and good people attract other good people.
Yeah.
And I never told you thank you because you gave, like I said, you gave me my first house. You trusted me. You've helped me out when I needed help,
Yeah.
and even had conversations with me, just like now we having a conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I get to, and you at least let me use my testimony to kind of help other people out, and people that don't do foster care. They'll get to hear their story and be like, man, there's other kids out here that's really going through this type of stuff.
Yeah, because I know he had mentioned to me, well, yeah, you got such a decent house that you should. But I've been burnt before, not necessarily trying to do something with foster children, but with trying to help someone's children before, and it just wind up going all bad. And and sometimes it just only takes that one time
That one, yeah,
for it fuck up for everybody.
exactly.
And and I've thought about it, and then as soon as the thought hit my head, it dismissed itself, because it's crazy, because you just don't know who would take you for granted, who would take from you, who would harm you. You just don't know, and again, we're being honest and laying cards on the table. Like, I had met you the one time, and yes, oh yes, he works at Subway. Oh yes, he's gonna get some cookies, and you came back and you gave me the cookies. But outside of maybe seeing you, at dinner, or you coming and going, we never really had any interaction with one another. Not for real. We might have spoke, and like I said, might have been around each other, but we never had like conversations with one another.
Yeah.
At that time. So when I'm gonna say opportunity, when opportunity presented itself for you to come with me, it was like, I don't know. Let me think about it. How old is he? Is he gonna be, is he gonna be on this piece of cues? Is he gonna do what he's supposed to do? Because nowadays young men are just they're somewhere else.
Yeah.
And and you can't trust everybody, especially I can't even say societal norms right now, but the way things are happening in Cleveland, and I'm sure in other places, that you have to be careful when you bring somebody new into your circle. But then I had to think about who I was talking to, which was your dad. And I know that, again, there are a lot of people that he puts on straight and narrow, and then there's some that, didn't make it, and no fault of his, but, that's just how it happens. But one of the things is, at the beginning, he was checking to make sure that, I'm going to say that I was good, and I'm going to assume that he was checking with you too to see if you was good.
Oh, yeah.
With me.
Always.
And it just works. And yeah, and I'm thankful for you, because, you helped me out too. So I'm glad you got a house. No.
That was one of my biggest goals. And when I graduated high school and working as a dental assistant, my goal was to get a house. I didn't want to have an apartment. I didn't want to, deal with all that type of stuff. I wanted a house, but I was so eager growing up, trying to get out, trying to be on my own, trying to be the adult that I had to grow up to be, regardless. Even though I wanted a childhood, and I'm just still, people will tell you now I'm childish now, but they don't understand that. They don't understand why I didn't get a chance to do all that type of stuff. So now I'm using the time that I can,
right,
to be childish. And one of my biggest goals was to get a house, to get my first vehicle. Pay my first set of bills.
Well, I got a bill that you could pay.
No, not right now. But I feel like my dad is the reason that I'm able to do this.
Right, because he planted that in you.
He showed me how to do certain things. He um he didn't have to use words. He actions do speak louder than words. I sat and watched him how to cook, how to clean, how to be around other people that I don't know. He showed me how to talk. That was one, like I said, that's one of the biggest things I ever had was talking. Period. Whether I knew you or not, I wouldn't talk. I don't associate myself with a lot of people. I don't go out to parties. I don't. The most I would do with other people is play video games and basketball. Those are my coping skills.
Okay.
That's what I used to cope. And he showed me that I can use that type of stuff. No one else did. He showed me. He told me that whatever you like to do, what do you want to do? Let that be your push to be around other people. If I didn't meet DeLorean, I wouldn't be able to help work with kids. And he showed me how to do that because he worked in schools.
Right. That's true.
He showed me how to do that. So and I'm truly blessed for him, and blessed to have him. Even though he ain't my biological father, he's my father.
And that is a very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So you mentioned to me before some acronyms. ADHD and PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of tell me where you are with, well, why do you think you have ADHD?
Oh, I know I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Okay.
But that wasn't from a licensed doctor. That was from a teacher.
Oh, okay.
A teacher in school. I got a call home once. And my problem was banging on the tables. I was banging on the tables. I wasn't paying attention. What else was it? It was something else that I got yelled. I think it was being out of my seat a lot. I was always out of my seat, even when I wasn't supposed to be.
Okay.
And they noticed that, and my uncle noticed it too. Which is I used to move around the house a lot, but I wasn't speaking. I wouldn't talk to nobody. I would be so quick to drift off of conversations. I'm always banging on stuff, moving around. I just had to. Like I couldn't sit still.
Okay.
The PTSD part, from me shutting down, from me seeing the things that I've seen, especially the loss of my sister. Certain things trigger me, and I wouldn't know I've been triggered until after everything has calmed down. I've been to a doctor. They told me, yeah, you may be traumatized. Certain things trigger me, and my dad experienced it once. He experienced. It was this movie called Hush. It's a scary movie.
Yeah.
And we laugh about it now, but and for those of you that don't know what Hush is, it's a scary movie about a woman who's deaf. She lives in this house by herself, and there's a guy. I think it's a masked guy who comes and knocks on the door and is trying to get in the house. He's trying to kill her, but she can't hear. She don't know what's going on. She has to survive. And me and my dad, we sitting there watching the movie, and I'm like, is she deaf? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, My mom's deaf, and she dies. And the first thing that came to my head was the moment I see my mom laying um laying in the bed with the knife in her hand, and I shut down.
Wow.
It it probably took a minute. I came back into reality, and my dad's there. He's calming me down. I'm upset about it, and then we talk about it. I'm like, dang. But now we look back at it, like, man, you set me up for that.
And I'm sure the laughter, because if anybody know who we talking about,
He's a jokester.
he's full of jokes.
But that's another thing he taught me is what, and not just him. A lot of other people now has taught me that laughing is a real good medicine. Is a really good medicine. That's probably one of the biggest medicines anyone can take. The best medicine anyone can take.
Okay. Is laughter.
Laughter. If you can laugh through it, you won't feel that pain no more. You won't. I laugh about my sister a lot, not being dead, but because I knew that she couldn't say the word yellow, or because she had a speech. She had some things she couldn't say. She couldn't say the word yellow. She used to say lello with an L in the beginning, not a Y, with an L. Lello. And my younger brother, he's so skinny, we laugh about him. Me, the back of my head is flat. We laugh about that. I laugh about it. The scar on my nose, we laugh about that a lot. A lot of people say this is a fake nose because of the scar. But me knowing that, maybe 10 years ago, all of this would have made me want to fight you. I wouldn't be able to laugh about it. All of this would have made me want to fight you.
Okay.
Because of that PTSD, me being traumatized, me being through all that type of stuff. I wouldn't be able to deal with it. Shut down on you.
So the depression, are you currently being seen for it, taking any medication for it, or you just have coping mechanisms?
Coping. Music, basketball.
What type of music?
Gospel.
Gospel music.
It's a lot of music, but gospel now is the main one.
Do you have a favorite gospel artist?
Kalante Gavin. His name is Kalante Gavin. He's young. We're actually the same age, 24 years old.
Wow.
We're the same age. And he's been through some other things that I've experienced in my life. And he is now one of the biggest gospel artists there is right now.
Okay, I'm about to check him out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, I had a question, and it just flew away like the butterfly. Wow. Okay, so just to kind of wrap it up.
Uh-huh.
You've been through what you have been through.
Mm-hmm.
Although it was a struggle, you survived it. You can look back on the things that have happened to you and use them as things not to do or situations that you don't want to be in anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as an adult, because you are technically an adult right now. So, let me step back. Did you ever think that you will be a man living on his own with a job?
I wouldn't think I would be a man alive.
Wow.
And I say that a lot.
That's deep.
I say that a lot. I don't think I'll be a man alive.
That's impressive that you survived some of the things that you have survived. But outside of your coping mechanism for the depression and the fact that you can now recognize things that you do that they diagnosed you as ADHD, and the things that you might say or do that pulls on the PTSD, and all of that stuff is not necessarily bad,
Mm.
but of the good things that you've developed and learned. Is it anything that you can say to maybe the younger you or someone that's your age now that has walked the similar type of path? Is it anything that you can say to them as either a warning or a motivation?
Um, I'm not gonna do warnings.
Okay.
Um, I will say let it be a motivation. One thing that a lot of a lot of people don't understand is the pain that you go through can't defeat you really.
Mm.
It won't defeat you unless you let it.
Oh wow.
I nearly let it. My mom, she nearly let it. She nearly let it.
How often do you talk to your mom?
I talk to my mom very often now. There's still some things that I'm trying to adjust to, even though it's been a very long time since she's been back in my life. There's still things that I'm trying to adjust to. Um, but I talk to her a good amount of times, probably about 3 4 times a month.
Okay, and she's still down in Atlanta?
No, actually, she's here in Cleveland. She is on the west side of Cleveland. She's doing really good. Got her own place. She just got her driver's license. Just got her first vehicle. Um, she got her own place. She has a job. She works at Panera Bread.
Is she signing yet?
Yeah, no, she knows sign language.
Oh, you
She,
just didn't learn it.
me and my younger brother didn't learn it. We couldn't learn it, but she knows sign language. But for her to communicate with us, it had to be through lip reading.
So what about now? What?
Oh, it's still lip reading. It's still lip reading.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I know how to spell words out, but I can't do, you know, um, what would it like hand? I can't do hand signs. I can spell words
Sign
out.
language.
Yeah, like yeah. There's certain motions that people see. Like this would be, I think this is dad and this is mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like things like that, like what walking is or work or house. I can't say that type of stuff in their hand motion, but I can spell it out with the letters you can make out of your hands.
Okay.
So you can spell words out with your hands, and then there's motions that you can do with your hands as well for certain things.
Okay. So there is, and the only reason I know this is because one day I thought I was going to be a sign language interpreter. I took all the classes that were here at Tri-C, Eastern, Metro, and Western. But in order to get a degree in sign language, I would have had to move to Toledo, and I was not willing to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know anybody who signs, then you get to lose it with anything that you don't practice, you lose. So I kind of lost it. But I know very little sign language now. And having said that, do you think that you want to learn it?
Yes, yeah, especially now because of the job that I work. But yes,
Yeah, you should ask them to send you to Tri-C. They might.
yeah,
They might.
yeah. I actually want to learn.
That's cool. So is there anything that you want to say in closing?
In closing, there's actually two things.
Okay.
For the people that has ever thought about doing foster care,
Okay.
do it. Especially if you're African American. There are more African American kids in foster care than there is any other race. Do it. Don't be scared of the. Do it.
Okay.
And if you worried about the older kids, start with a baby. Believe it or not, and there's a lot of babies too, infants that are in foster care. Start with a baby. Go on from there, and then move on up. And then, if you wanna limit yourself to maybe a 12-year-old child, that's fine. But do it. I would say do it, because these kids need it. Some of these foster parents out here shouldn't have gotten a license. Some of these people should not be doing what they're doing now. And I'm going to be honest. I've experienced it. People can put on a facade and they can do it really well, especially the ones that are older.
Okay. Would you ever be a foster parent?
Yes, most
Okay.
definitely. Most definitely. I will if I get me a nice big old house. Ooh, I will have so many foster kids as much as I can have. Give them the things that like my dad has done. Take care of them. Teach them the things that they need to learn.
Yeah. I know I heard, and I know not to interrupt because you had another point that you wanted to make,
No, it's fine.
but I know that there are some, what is it? Some places where they have the children or kids, they transition out of foster care. I guess that's at a certain age,
18 years old.
but then they're not technically prepared for the world.
Yeah.
And I've heard of places like that. So that's a thought.
Yeah. Yeah. But if it comes to your mind, do it. Try it out. Talk to other foster parents and try it out. Because there's, like I said, there's a lot of, especially African American, there's a lot of African American kids that need it. And if you don't do it, just know, those kids might not get the right support they need, especially for when they hit 18 years old. Especially if they hit 18 years old. A lot of parents are here doing it for the money.
For the money.
A lot of foster parents are here doing it for the money.
For the money.
But do it. The second thing is, if for the younger ones that come across this, whenever it comes out, even if you're not a foster child, if you're dealing with anything, speak up. Speak up. I regretted it when I was young. Speak up. Start now. Don't wait.
Right, because it might be too late.
It might end up being too late. Speak up.
Wow,
And trust God.
This is a huge eye opener for me. Like I said, you can see somebody and you just never know their struggle that they've gone through. Just life goals, and I know for myself, experiencing, but not very traumatically, a homeless spell. So I get it, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I open up my door to people, because I went through a certain time period where I didn't know where me and my daughter was going to lay our heads at, or I ain't going to say food, because, just luckily at that time I was able to get government assistance. So I had the food stamps. That was shout out to paper food stamps. But, I had a way for us to eat, and it was luckily that I had a part-time job at Tri-C, and I was able to buy me a car on my own. So I did have, a few luxuries with being homeless, but then there are some homeless people that don't have those luxuries, and it's something to lay down and don't know where you're going to open your eyes at, or what's around you, or who's around you, or what they're going to do to you.
Right.
If they're going to take what little you have, because you have people out here that don't care.
Right.
They want what you have, even if it doesn't benefit them at all, but just because you don't have it. I mean, just in case you have it and they don't want you to have it. So I get it. So yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to tell it.
Oh yeah, I know it's a long time coming. We was talking about this.
Yeah, it was been supposed to be done, but things happen. Things happen.
Happen for a reason. And again, I thank you for being you and looking out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we have come to the end of this week's episode. I want to first thank you for listening to the insanity that crosses our minds. To those who partake and entertain in my conversations, without you, there will be no hanging out with Hayzel. To Platinum Way Ray and Mac of the Tracks, we're looking out for my dope beat. And last but not least, shout out to my other half for making this possible. Because at the end of the day, she is I and I am her. If you thought this show was interesting, be sure to tune in to next week's episode and tell a friend. Support the movement. All things Hayzel Green. Find my books on Amazon.com. Follow, listen, and like at hazelgreen.com. Hayzel Green on Facebook and Hayzel Green 216 on IG. 2 fingers, and I'm out. Hey, 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 hey.